Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We've got a brand new 2022 Cimarron Norstar 3-horse living quarters sitting behind me. We're going to walk you through this trailer. Every one of them's a little bit different, but right now this trailer is available. That's pretty rare in today's world that they actually make it to the lot, but if they do not last long. So definitely give us a call if you're in the market for something like this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the drawings. I want to show you some dimensions and specs on this trailer before we start walking you through all the options. What we're looking at is, again, a 3-horse living quarters. This trailer is 27 foot on the floor, so a very maneuverable trailer in very tight circumstances. I mean, you can get in and out of most places. It's 8 foot wide. It is 7'7" tall. Then when we look at the living quarters side of it, this is a 12'8" Pro Line XP by Outlaw Conversions with a slide out. So again, we're going to walk you through, we're going to show you some of the different options, different upgrades we made to this trailer. So buckle up, we'll go through it. We will get an official empty weight on this trailer. When a trailer leaves Cimarron, it's the shell. So we have a weight based on the MSO there, but that's not the official empty weight when the living quarters gets added to it. So check back to our website here in a few days. We will have an official empty weight on it. We'll take it to a certified scale and get that for you. But like I mentioned, very maneuverable trailer, 27 foot on the floor. If we look underneath the gooseneck here, first and foremost, couple things we do. First thing is dual jacks, because we're dealing with the slide out. You kind of take it a case by case basis based on the size of the trailer, but since this one does have a slide out, we do dual jacks. They are electric over hydraulic, so it does have the manual override on this system from Equalizer that Cimarron uses. If you notice the tanks as well, so standard comes with two 20-pound LP tanks. We like to upgrade to the 30-pounders, and the reason why is, why not? For a little bit more money, you get the bigger tanks, a lot more capacity. You're not having to swap tanks in and out. I mean, this time of the year, you could be using a lot more if you are. As you can see, it is cold here in Colorado this morning. But you know, it's a lot simpler to be able to go and fill these tanks up, not as frequently as 20-pounders. So we like to upgrade to those. Right above them is going to be our battery box. It's going to house the 2 house batteries, battery cutoff. But if you start looking at this is the one really thing I like about Outlaw and what they do. If you start looking at all this wiring, you know, it is actually labeled on exactly where everything goes. It's not just, hey, you know, you're looking for a yellow wire and follow that. So if you get somewhere where you need some work done, it's pretty easy for, even if it's not like our shop where our guys are used to working on these Outlaws and Cimarrons, you know, if you're traveling, they can go in and say, hey, you know, here's what you're looking for specifically. Want you to follow this wire, but everything very labeled extremely well. So again, it saves a lot of time and just hassle with everything there. This tube right above me actually houses our hose for our dump tank. So it's kind of up out of the way. I actually like the battery box in this located somewhat close. I grew up on a cow-calf operation where we AI'd a lot of cows. So I always like to recommend to customers, if you can, you know, go get a vet glove or an AI glove type of a scenario, put the box right in here so you can grab this tube, go dump your tanks, literally just take those off, throw them away, and then you walk away from it. But that's a great place to house that because of where that's actually located right there. So started on the 22 models, the frameless windows became standard on these LQs. It's a lot cleaner, sleeker look. You can do the old style if you want, but standard is going to be these frameless windows. You'll also have the button LED lights. So it's a smaller light, but it puts off a lot of light, not a big power draw with it being LED. You'll have those kind of underneath the awning here a little bit, but on that top rail. And then this is an electric awning. So this is a great place to entertain out here. You've got an outlet out here for you. You've got the exterior speakers, and then there is an awning light, a strip light underneath there, so you do have additional light coverage. And the other thing is, I want you to notice that aluminum cover on that awning. We are big fans of that, and the reason why is, usually if we look at a trade-in and it doesn't have that cover on it, I usually say I want to see the first 2 foot of that awning rolled out, because what happens is that UV rays just will eat an awning alive, and it's usually within that first 2 foot that we have to replace. The rest of the awning's in really good condition, but without that cover there to protect it, it will eat that up at times. Now, as we look at this LQ door, not tack door, LQ door here, this one here we opted for the heavy duty door that Cimarron builds. It's a lot heavier duty rather than the camper style. The camper style are going to be a prefab, and they're rounded at the top. That's kind of the dead giveaway on those when you're looking at them. So this is a lot stouter, heavier duty door. Obviously Outlaw goes in and you know, dresses it up and cleans it up as far as the soft touch and the cover over the actual window. You're going to have the retractable screen that's on a magnet, and then you've got your fold-up step. We try to put these on about anywhere we can on these entrances into these trailers, especially when we get into the 8 foot wide, just because of the ease of being able to just step on that fold-up step and making that transition a lot easier getting into the LQ. So like I mentioned, 12'8" short wall with the slide out. Again, this is a ProLine XP by Outlaw conversions. So you still get the hardwood cabinetry. You're going to have a 1-year warranty on the ProLine side of it. Where on an Outlaw, if you go that way, you get 3 years. But this is their production model. So what you do is you have a few colors that you get to pick from as far as wood stain and then actual colors within the trailer. But it's a good package, a couple different sizes they have. Really good price point on here, but you still get that quality. So if we look, first thing up in the gooseneck area, you know, you're going to get the Outlaw Flex. So this is a memory foam, nice mattress as far as that's concerned. You've got some cabinets up there for storage. And then over to the left is where you're going to have a TV, a flat screen TV. That's on an arm, so that will pivot as well. Additional closet, clothes rods in it. Outlaw does a really good job on trying to utilize about every little nook and cranny they can as far as where to store things. We understand you're going to carry a lot of items with you, so the more of that stuff we can do, the better. Dual sink here, which is fantastic because when you are traveling on the road, you know, when you are cleaning dishes, you have one sink where you can actually dry dishes and one that you can actually wash in rather than just one. You get the cover on it, so you get a little bit more counter, you know, just space when you're not utilizing the sink. And then you've got a 2-burner cooktop with the recessed glass top on it. So again, you can actually store some items here. A vent above it, and then you've got a microwave as well. Right above the door, we put 2 hat racks right there, so you can store those up out of the way. Then if you look behind it, another flat screen TV. It's on an arm as well, so you can pivot it. It's in a great location to actually see it from the sofa that we'll show you here in a few minutes. But then we go with the larger, this is actually a 7.0 refrigerator freezer setup. They've actually gone to a 7.0 from the 6.0, but this is fantastic because you have a refrigerator and an actual separate freezer. Now, I'm going to show you this because Outlaw actually did a video on this, and they give you a nice little disclaimer here. But a lot of people want to just grab these handles and open them. But what you actually do is you actually grab, pull it, in this scenario, all the way over to the left, and then just gently pull. So it's actually a release on there. But we have seen some people break these by literally just grabbing them and just yanking on them rather than thinking that actual release there. But very simple to use. Again, you get the bigger refrigerator freezer setup. We understand you're going to be traveling with a lot of stuff, and maybe there's a good amount of time that you want to be on the road. So being able to have this rather than the smaller 3.0 refrigerator where you have just a little corner freezer setup, it's almost like a dorm fridge, so you don't have as much just capacity to carry food with you from that standpoint. And then, like I said, from where that TV is directly across, there's our slide out. This is an electric slide. The hydraulic takes a larger footprint. We need a lot more framework around it. So we need a larger LQ short wall in order to put a slide out on those. But we have a lot of people wanting a smaller LQ as far as the size, but still have that slide out. So these electric slides have come a long way. They're using them a lot in the camper world and RV world. So again, a really good setup. This guy here just folds down, so it's a jackknife style. So it does fold down into a secondary bed. You kind of grab in the middle on the bottom and then the top, and then you just kind of work it back in there. And then there's additional storage underneath it. This is a great place for the bedding, in my opinion, for this actual sofa. It's right there. It goes all the way across and all the way back. Our actual water storage on this, on these electric slides, we don't put the water actually in there, so that sofa can actually sit back a little bit deeper. But that water storage will run underneath this area right here where these steps are. That's where your freshwater tank will actually be on this trailer. Then as you get into the bathroom, you have a pocket door, which is great because then you don't actually have to step around a door. You know, it just slides across there. Again, you're not having to work around it. And then as we work in, I'll actually kind of step through the pass-through door. So you do have a walk-through door that goes into the stall area. But I really like this on these 12/8s, you know, especially compared to the 10/8s. The 10/8s, you know, we're very similar on our actually living space. And then what you really notice is you notice it here in the bathroom when you get to these 12/8s. You've got your toilet. You've got a lot of counter space. The nice thing is you can actually stand in front of the bathroom sink. You're not having to hover over a toilet trying to get ready. You get a larger bathroom vanity as far as that's concerned with the mirror there. Some storage. Then you're going to have another big clothes closet back here. 2 clothes rods on it. The furnace is actually located underneath this. That's why it's raised up. And then there's the base, and then our feet and actual table for that sofa when you're actually wanting to sit there and have a meal. And then the radius shower with a skylight. You know, for the skylight's really nice. Just you get some natural lighting in this bathroom area. But if you're taller, it gives you a little bit more headroom as well in that. But the other thing about this pass-through door, and the reason why I like it, is if you can almost use your first stall as a mudroom if you need to. Kick off boots, you can step right in here to the bathroom and actually take a shower rather than coming in and tracking other stuff into the actual living quarters itself. But when you're looking at these, one of the other things that's really important is if we look up at the ceiling itself, I want you to notice that just the ducts. I mean, we're not actually trying to get, you know, air conditioning directly from just the unit itself. This is ducted, so we can kind of manipulate this airflow all we want, but by having it ducted, it really, you know, just has more of a consistent temperature throughout this whole living space. Based on that, again, we're not trying to just move air from one location. Obviously, with our furnace, as heat rises, you can actually put it on to where it'll circulate, so you can move that warmer air throughout the cabin. You know, if at nighttime you want to force more cold air up into the sleeping area, you can actually close the vents down in the bathroom and force more that way. But you've got the capability to do those type of things. And one last thing before we walk out here is right here is actually going to be our controls for our slide out and that electric awning, but then also for our onboard generator. So this has an Onan 4000 gas gen. It's more than enough to do everything you want on this living quarters if you're out somewhere where you can't plug in, but you've got the ability to go ahead and actually turn that on from right here in the actual cabin area. Now we'll talk a little bit more about trailer side of it, stall area side. First and foremost, we'll start up at the roof. So as you can see, we have a 6-foot sheeted hay rack. So you've got the ability to actually carry some hay on board on this trailer. Behind it is the actual generator box that we'll show you. We'll show you that when we get to the back of the trailer as well. But you have the 16-inch awning light. So you have an exterior awning light on each side of this trailer in the rear. Now this isn't as big of a deal here in Colorado, but we do sell to southern states as well. The drop windows on the hip side or tail side. This one here, we opted for one at the first stall and one at the third stall with the bus window in the middle. You know, in Colorado, we're not having to deal with quite as much humidity and those really high heat indexes, but we do sell again to the southern states. So we've started incorporating a lot more drop windows on tail side for that reason, so you can get a lot more airflow. We'll talk about what else Cimarron does when we get into the stall area on what helps that. We have 2 7,000-pound rubber torsion Dexter axles, electric brakes, 16-inch aluminum wheels, and these are G-rated tires, so an upgraded tire. We have seen some of these out there in the world, you know, similar manufacturers with this size of a trailer, and they're running 10 plies underneath there, and you kind of scratch your head going, why? This is a living quarters. We got more weight and more capacity. You know, let's go ahead and upgrade our wheels and tires. You also have a 1-year no questions asked warranty on these tires through Lion's Head, who's the vendor that Cimarron uses. So if you catch a nail, blowout, catch road debris, they will replace that, no questions asked, in 1 year. This is a very small upgrade, but it's something we really like, and we've really incorporated a lot more on living quarters, 8-foot wide trailers, longer trailers, and that's that amber turn signal. And the reason why is it works as an extra indicator light and a larger indicator light if you look down the side of this trailer, but it also will blink, you know, flash when you put your blinker on, and then when you apply brakes, it'll indicate as well. So these trailers are longer. A lot more people don't pay attention to trailers, so we're just trying to give them one more piece to say, hey, this trailer is trying to come over. You know, if the vehicle's right here, they can't see your turn signal from where I'm at, but about middle of that trailer. Again, this one's only 27 foot on the floor, but it's a small upgrade. Why not? Let's try to get you a lot more light coverage and just watching out for you as you're actually traveling down the road itself. So as you can see up there on top, there's that generator box. We like to do the platform all the way across, just so you're not actually walking on the roof. Now you can walk on these roofs of these Cimarrons. You don't have to be on a roof bow. They can take 150 pounds per square foot. So I can actually jump on that roof and I won't dent it. I mean, it is that strong and that stout. Look at the back of the trailer here. We have 50-50 rear doors. We go 50-50 on these 8-wide trailers. When you get into the standard width, it'll be a 60-40 setup, but as we go wider, we can go the 50-50. Over to the left-hand door, brush tray for smaller items. 4-tier blanket pole rack, that's on a gas shock, so it does swing out. Bridle hooks on the door behind it. And then for our tack room, you've got a folding rear tack. Since this one is a 3-horse, you get standard 3 saddle pads, but you can adjust these, you can add more blanket poles, a lot of things you can do to this. You can unpin it, pick it up, take it out if you want, and then actually collapse this rear tack down if you'd like to. We do have some customers that want these trailers to be dual purpose and do other things. You know, maybe you want to haul some toys, maybe you want to look at adding a rear ramp to this trailer to actually load those toys, but maybe your horse prefers a ramp load, so you can remove this rubber bumper, and we can do that right here through our parts and service department as well. Now, as we get into the stall area, we've got padded dividers, and we did airflow dividers on the head grill and then at the slope of the shoulders on these actual dividers itself. But again, the padded to protect the horses a little bit more. Stud divider at number 1. I know a lot of people that run 3 horses, sometimes they're not actually hauling 3 head all the time. They're hauling 2 head. If you have a problem child that needs to live in this first stall, they can with the stud divider, or it works as additional storage as well. Like I said, you can utilize this as a mudroom if you jump into the actual living space from here. But in this stall area, a lot of other things going on as well. So we talked a little bit about the roof on the outside. Let's talk about the benefits of what it does for temperature control. So in the summertime, it will, with it being an insulated roof, it'll keep the stall area about 20% cooler than an aluminum sheeted roof. So then when we start incorporating drop windows on head that will show you, all these airflow dividers, a couple drops on the tail side, that insulated roof, 2-way roof vents as well. We can manipulate airflow, but more importantly, it just keeps the stall area so much cooler and so much more comfortable for the animals itself. LED lights, those are the Optibrights. We upgraded those. LED is standard, but this is a bigger, wider, clear lens. Not a big power draw, but boy, it puts off a lot of light. We do that on all of our trailers. That is just a real simple upgrade that we like to do, kind of like that amber turn signal, fold up steps. Those are little pieces that we like to just incorporate on all of our trailers. And that's just feedback from customers in general on how much they truly enjoy those. Kick mats on tail side. I want you to notice that they also taper these fenders. They taper them on the top side and they taper them at the back. There's a lot of manufacturers that this will just be a 90-degree off the wall box. So 90-degree on the top, 90 degrees in this back corner. We don't like 90-degree angles. We don't like sharp edges. We don't like things protruding out. Everything has a radius to it just for horse safety. You see even on these paddle latches, everything's recessed. They even radius these corners. This is an aluminum powder coated piece, but this is a heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch, so you don't have metal to metal contact that creates noise in these trailers. But more importantly, open and closing when you're actually loading, unloading horses, a lot safer for you, a lot safer for the horse. One fluid motion opening them up. And I also want you to notice, I'm just going to let this divider go, and as you see, it's actually wanting to pull towards driver's side. We're tipped towards passenger side, but Cimarron uses this big spring on the bottom of their dividers that actually pull them away. So again, that's one less thing as you're unloading and loading you're having to worry about, is holding this divider open. So again, safer for you, safer for the horses. Last thing I want to touch on in here is this floor. So Cimarron has the industry's best floor on the market. Easiest way to tell quality of an aluminum trailer, in my opinion, is crawl underneath and look at the floor. You're going to notice these beams that run across the trailer the entire length. Why that's important is when you're looking at a Cimarron, these centers are 4 inches apart. So we're talking about wherever you have a horse, imagine hoof size of a horse, wherever they're standing on a support beam. And it's an extruded 12-inch piece, locks in high and low, tongue and groove, so you really gain a lot of strength. It's almost like when you're building Legos as a kid. When you start putting all those Legos together, that thing just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger as you build up. That's how these Cimarrons are. The way they do their extrusions, they think about every piece locking together and how to gain that strength as you're manufacturing the trailer. But other manufacturers will have their centers farther apart, which over time can create those pits and waves, and that's where urine can collect, create corrosion, start eating away at the floor. Every aluminum floor should be cared for. So not to say you're never going to have to pull mats on this trailer and clean it. You should. That is part of maintenance on these. No different than rotating your tires and oil changes on your truck. You got to do it. But if you take care of this floor, it'll last a lot longer, because a lot of other manufacturers will just take a sheet of aluminum and lay it down, and that's where that strength with this actually extrusion will show itself over time. Last thing, I'll shut this rear door here for you. I want to show you why is our ladder that actually gets up to that hay rack, that generator, and that deck. So this is an easy angle ladder that Cimarron's created. This is a newer piece right here. So over the years, we've had these rubber sockets where it actually sets down in, but this is one more safety piece where it actually pins in and locks to secure it in transit. So what you do is you lift up and extend the ladder down. So instead of a bolt-on ladder where you have to go straight up the side of this trailer, imagine carrying a bucket or feed bags as you're trying to get them up there to load, and you're literally just trying to shimmy with one hand and maybe a partial of the other. Now with this, you can literally just have one hand and start walking up this ladder. It's like taking a ladder and leaning up against a house rather than trying to go straight up vertically. This can be added as well. So just because you don't have a Cimarron, or we have a used trailer here on the lot that you want to look at and you're like, I want that rather than that bolt-on, we can add this piece to that, again, through the parts and service department. At the back here is our fill for our generator. So we don't have to lug gas cans up there. You pull up to the pump with your truck, fuel it up, pull it up, gas only because it's a 4K gas gen, but right here it's really handy because, again, it's typically on the side of your vehicle that you're fueling up. There's a good look at those drop windows I was telling you about. So again, a lot of airflow. They really try to maximize the size of these openings, Cimarron does, which again is going to allow for a lot more airflow throughout this trailer. The jail bars, you just lift up a little bit, they'll fold down as well. But this is all framework around these windows. So these are things you're going to open and close every time you use this trailer, more than likely. So we want them to be durable and heavy duty to hold up over time. So really stout, welded hinges with grease zerks as well. So a lot easier to maintain because you can actually put grease to it. There's a brass rod that runs the length of this. You can kind of see it right there in the middle between these two. But when you start putting grease into these zerts and start open and close this, there's a groove cut in the middle of that that'll actually try to force that grease throughout that entire hinge. So again, a lot easier for you to maintain and operate. And then you've got two manger doors. As you can see, kind of this L-shaped box at the back of this one here, that's our fuel tank. So we didn't want to get it into the actual rear tack area, but Outlaw does a good job building that in that kind of L shape. So you still can utilize some of that space back there on this one. When you get into 3 horses, obviously, if you got an escape door and you don't put a manger on it, you're really only dealing with 2 manger bays, and you're gonna have to deal with the wheel well for axle placement on this one here. But you do have the ability to store some items in their buckets, maybe some feed bags, lawn chairs, little items like that. There is lights in there as well, so you can actually have some light coverage in that actual bay itself. Same thing, really heavy duty. I mean, the welds on these are phenomenal that Cimarron does. The other nice thing is everything's keyed-like. So our LQ door, rear doors, rear tack door, drop windows, manger doors, everything has the same key. So it's just one throughout the trailer, which is really handy and really nice. Then we have our escape door at stall number 1. Again, a fold-up step over that. There's an entrance going in there. Additional butterfly latch that goes over it. And the reason why is anything that accesses into the stall area like these, Cimarron wants these latches just for safety purposes. Yes, it does have this door latch, but if you have somebody sitting there that likes to play with things, the last thing you want is a horse to pop the door open. So if you are using it as a mudroom, you got to keep this open if you're going in and out of this, because now you won't be able to get out from the inside with that, how it is with that butterfly latch over it. And then your fold up step. There's a good look at the slide out. Does have the awning topper as well, so it'll protect from that, you know, rain hitting the top of that slide and trying to go back into the trailer right there. There's your frameless window. So I'm going to give you the stock number on this trailer here. So if you're interested in it, you can give us a call. It is a 2022 Cimarron Norstar 3-horse living quarters. Stock number is 5N220090. Give us a call. Anybody on our sales team can help you out. We do take trade-ins, whether you're looking to upgrade or even downsize, we can help you out there. Delivery is available, so we can look at transport options, getting it directly to your door, and then financing is available as well. So we can help you out with everything. So give us a shout. Again, it's available. We have others on order. We can build you something if you have some time, but give us a call. That number is 303-684-3400. We appreciate you tuning in, and have a good day.